There's a secret rhythm pulsing beneath the surface of Dub Nation's off-season whispers. A tension so thick it feels like the air itself could snap. Because what if the Golden State Warriors' next seismic move pivots not on their own restricted free agent drama, but on a rival star still carving his name in the league? Welcome back to Warriors News Fan Report, where raw truths collide with splash-era passion. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so your heart never misses a beat. Now, here's the full court press on a story that's quietly gearing up to shake the entire Western Conference to its core. The Golden State Warriors, fresh off juggling their own restricted free agent Jonathan Kuminga's future, have reportedly set their sights on Chicago Bulls rising guard Josh Giddey. Yes, the same Giddey who was swapped to the Bulls in a storybook trade that sent Alex Caruso packing to Oklahoma City. The parallels here are uncanny and charged with potential drama, because just like Kuminga's looming contract talks that are as fluid and fraught as the Bay waters themselves, Giddey is at a crossroads entering the 2025-26 season. The 22-year-old Australian guard, one of the NBA's most intriguing young playmakers, has shown steady growth with the Bulls, posting career highs in rebounds, 8.1, assists, 7.2, steals, 1.2, and notably boosting his three-point shooting to 37.8% over 70 gritty games in 2024-25. These aren't just numbers, they're signals of a developing star, commanding more respect and creating ripple effects in salary cap strategy rooms far beyond Chicago. Yet behind the scenes, an escalating standoff simmers. The Bulls have dangled an offer in the $20 million per year range. A respectable figure, but one that's fueling increasingly tense negotiations as Giddey's camp, confiding in sources like NBA insider Jake Fisher, is reportedly angling closer to $30 million annually. If that spread sounds like the kind of salary standoff capable of upending not just contracts, but entire franchises, trust me, it is. This isn't just financial chess. It's a high-stakes showdown imbued with basketball legacies and golden. State's executives are watching every move from across the skyline. Fisher's recent podcast revelation electrifies the rumor mill. The Warriors are not just interested. They're potentially scheming a bold sign-and-trade play involving both Josh Giddey and Jonathan Kuminga. Imagine the splash-era spirit, the cunning mastery of data and shot creation, being fused with Giddey's European-style vision and tenacity. The Warriors could unlock a new chapter that blends proven talent with untapped ceiling, but only if this negotiation quagmire doesn't resolve first in Chicago's favor. Here's the under-the-radar bomb no one saw coming. While the mainstream narrative paints this as a straightforward Bulls versus player contract feud, the Warriors front office could wield this opportunity as a pivot point to recalibrate the leave team's identity around younger, versatile wings next to Steph Curry and Klay Thompson's sharpshooting dynasty foundation, bolstered by Draymond Green's defensive genius. Could the dual restricted free agent saga between Giddey and Kuminga transform into a blockbuster deal that recasts our entire roster? Could the tension in these negotiations be the crucible that forges our next title run or the fracture point, threatening to split the legacy of a franchise that has already weathered colossal highs and crushing lows? Every rumble in contract talks between Bulls brass and Giddey's representatives sends waves through Warriors war rooms and a fan base caught between nostalgia for the "we believe" underdog spirit and hunger for dynasty dominance. All signs suggest the Bulls want to keep their prodigy, but the dollar signs and strategic chess pieces moving quietly in Golden State's favor make it impossible to predict the closed chapter just yet. And as the season clock winds down and the physical battles on the hardwood loom, the emotional stakes morph in the boardrooms and parking lots fill with whispered deals and sealed envelopes. The convergence of two young stars. Futures is not a coincidence, but a potential revolution in how splash-era Warriors transcend eras mixing raw youth, refined sharpshooting, and strategic front office alchemy. I can feel it deep in the bones of Dub Nation. the electricity of uncertainty and possibility. As a lifelong Dub Nation believer, my pulse is racing just writing this. Knowing the ripple effects of these talks could redefine everything from salary cap ceilings to championship rings hanging in Chase Center vaults. But is this the ignition point for our next title run, or the crack that splits our legacy? The tension, the stakes, and the sheer audacity of this rumored sign-and-trade scheme keep me glued to every development. Drop your unfiltered takes in the comments. I'll be right there, heart in hand, ready to ride this storm together with Dub Nation, because in the Warriors world, every whisper could be the next roar. If the thought of Giddey and Kuminga possibly wearing Golden State blue next season sends chills straight through your soul, or if the very idea makes your head spin so fiercely you can't sleep, don't just sit there silent. Light up the comments, because this is no ordinary off-season rumor. This is the kind of earth-shaking, franchise-altering scenario that can set fire to the psyche of all Dub Nation and carve new clefts in the history books. Look, let's cut through the noise. This isn't just about adding a dazzling young point guard or locking down Kuminga's future. It's about the pressure cooker that is Steph Curry's legacy hanging in the balance as he hurtles toward that inevitable twilight. The man who transformed basketball with his three-point wizardry deserves a team reshaped, not just to complement his shot, but to overshadow the doubts that whisper about whether this dynasty will quietly fade or explode into a new era. Imagine Kerr mastermind tactician, the breathing heart of the Warriors system scrambling to reconfigure his offense and defense around this tantalizing hybrid of experience and youth. You think out there in the Chase Center corridors they aren't. Already sketching new play diagrams with Giddey's name glowing next to Curry's in electrifying ink? But here's what's twisting the knife. If the Bulls dig in their heels, holding guard like a fortress, this deal could shatter, leaving a fragmenting Warriors roster where Kuminga's own contract talks become a powder keg without options. And what about Moody and Wiggins? Those wings who have carried their weight but still hunger for the blueprint of greatness? Do they become casualties or catalysts in this swirling, opaque chess game? Every whisper from the front office reeks of both ferocious ambition and existential dread as the clock ticks down to a 2025-26 season that's supposed to be the countdown to either celebration or regret. Remember how Draymond's fiery leadership kept that old locker room sane? Now, from the outside looking in, you have to wonder if his grit can anchor the team through what looks like a perfect storm of uncertainty. Can he be the emotional glue? If this sign-and-trade gambit collapses or morphs into something wildly different, we're standing on the edge of a cliff, folks, where every decision, every handshake, every word whispered in secret meetings could ignite a chain reaction felt in every corner of the NBA. The echoes of strength in numbers feel like a heartbeat fading into a question mark. Is this the rebirth or the beginning of a painful unraveling for the Warriors? It's the kind of tension that's as raw as when Steph hit his unforgettable dagger against OKC, or when Klay erupted with 37 in a quarter moment, seared into the collective memory of a fan base that refuses to blink first. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. What if the front office's calculation is flawless? What if the combination of Giddey's playmaking wizardry and Kuminga's ascending athleticism finally unlocks a weaponized Warriors squad that stands bigger, more flexible, and deadlier than anything since the Splash Brothers' prime? If that happens, we won't even be reminiscing about this off-season drama. We'll be basking in the glow of a dynasty reborn, a new Titanic era where the future meets the present in perfect harmony. But here's the kicker, the part that keeps me grinding my teeth late into the night. What if this deal exposes fissures too wide to mend? What if the tension between staff, stars, and young talent fractures the locker room spirit, sows seeds of doubt, or ignites ego clashes that rival the playoff battles we all live for? Could this be the moment where a shifting NBA landscape ushered by rising teams and ravenous contender piles finds Golden State caught in the gravitational pull of transition, not rise? Our history tells us nothing is guaranteed. Remember those post-2019 nights when the light flickered but didn't go out? When Draymond, Steph, Clay, and a scrappy supporting cast fought tooth and nail to stitch together hope amid injuries and roster churn. Now, this is the crossroads on steroids. Deal or no deal, sign or walk, rise or rebuild. There's an electric vibe buzzing through social media. From the hardcore we've bleeded blue and gold type to the sharp analysts who understand the cap math and the long game. It's not just about winning games. It's about the statement. This franchise is about to send. Are we sprinting back to the throne or stepping aside for the revolution? I've seen Warriors before literal and figurative, and what I'm feeling in my bones right now is the raw surge of either downfall or the breakthrough. Moment you want to circle in your calendar like a sacred holiday. For the fans who lived through every brick from Oracle to Chase, who cheered, cried, and yelled through every comeback and collapse, this is the crescendo. Don't sit this one out. If you believe in the heart and hustle that built this franchise, if you think Kuminga and Giddey sharing that blue and gold can set our house on fire in the best way, or if you fear this saga could splinter our dream forever on those feelings and say them loud, there's no room for silence or second guessing in this arena of giants. It's Dub Nation's moment to roar louder, to fan the flames of hope or brace for impact. Right now, I'm wagering every bit of my passion and logic on this. Something monumental is shifting inside these Warriors' walls. A turbulent storm ready to rewrite the rules of what dynasty means in 2025 and beyond. And as someone who has bled blue and gold through every heartbreak, every parade, every buzzer beater, I swear, this isn't just another chapter. It's a potential seismic pivot that could either crown us once again or haunt us for years. So, throw down your hottest, rawest, no-fill takes in the comments, whether you're ready to rally behind a new Warriors revolution or warning of impending chaos, because I'll meet you there, locked in and loaded with every bit of history, insight, and obsession it takes to live and breathe Dub Nation until the final buzzer sounds. Now lean in and feel the temperature rise. Imagine Kuminga carving lanes with that elastic power, a first step like a siren, and Giddey threading passing angles that only appear when you bend the floor with pace and patience. Two different rhythms, fusing into something the league isn't prepared to guard. Picture Curry's gravity detonating space while those two toggle between slashing and orchestration. Picture Draymond grabbing the pulse of the game and slamming it back into our chests. When a run starts to wobble, picture the bench waking up, second unit humming, the whole building shaking like a drumline in a thunderstorm. And then ask yourself the real questions we only whisper when the lights go cold. Can we live with the turnovers that come with daring passes if they buy us easy points in bunches? Can we accept the learning curve in late-game reads if the ceiling is sky-high playoff shot creation we haven't had since the best nights of the dynasty? Are we brave enough to let growing pains happen in public, knowing every misstep becomes a headline, every stumble a referendum on what we are and what we're not? Because this is where belief has to walk the same tightrope as accountability. If you're all in, be all in. If you're skeptical, be specific, tell me where the cracks live. Is it spacing in 5 out, the weak side tag, the low man rotations, the pace control when opponents junk the game and dare us to win in the mud? Put it on the table. Don't hedge. Don't wait for a safe take. This is the franchise that taught basketball what impossible looks like, then did it anyway. We watched a baby-faced assassin turn into a legend, a second-round grinder become a heartbeat, a culture become a map other teams tried to photocopy. And now we stand at a fault line where courage must outrun nostalgia. If Kuminga grows from explosive to inevitable, if Giddey's feel becomes a compass instead of a suggestion, if the roles snap into place and the rotations breathe, the ripple won't be subtle, it'll be a shockwave. The West will feel it on back-to-backs, on national TV. In May when possession's slow and every cut, every read, every closeout is a verdict. That's why I'm asking you to choose a side in your own chest right now. Do you lean into the future and let it run? Or do you cling to the past and hope it holds one more year? Either answer demands honesty and patience, and both will be tested the first time a rogue crowd smells blood or a 2-minute report breaks your heart. But here's my promise. I'll track every rotation shift, every synergy spark, every late clock. Possession where we either blink or break through, and I'll bring it back to this community like oxygen. So write it down in ink, not pencil. Stand up in the comments with receipts and conviction. Tell me how you'd stagger minutes, who you'd trust as the connective tissue, which actions you'd spam until defenses beg for mercy. Because this moment, this risky, electric, glorious moment, will not wait for the faint-hearted. Dub Nation has never been about quiet. It's about declaring what we see before the rest of the world believes. If you've got hope, set it on fire. If you've got doubts, sharpen them into questions that actually move us forward. Either way, speak now, ride with us, and don't blink. The next roar you hear might be the sound of a dynasty learning a new language and making the league listen.